You told me before that Tupac wanted kids. Go more into detail about that.
Oh, he did want to have kids. You know, he planned on having kids eventually, or when he got out of jail and stuff. I remember he had like one day we was just talking and we were talking about like baby names and stuff like that. And he was saying if he had a son, he wanted to name him Giovanni Supreme Shakur. If he had a daughter, Giovanna Sparkle Shakur. And we talked about even us having kids at some point as well. But unfortunately, he
Oh,
didn't.
well,
What?
yeah, go into detail about that. So Tupac, yeah, no, you can't gloss over that. So Tupac, he talked to you before about having kids
Yeah,
with you.
yeah. That's why we were talking about baby names. Because he was, the game plan was to get shit settled, get things right and safe, and for me to go out there at the time too, as well as Keisha was supposed to go out there. I believe he was going to move her to the Calabasas and put me in Wilshire, and just certain dynamics and certain things. But we did talk about having children down the line once he got out, and that's how we got to be talking about those baby names.
So I gotta ask you because you said you and Tupac was working on a baby at the time of his passing,
Yeah.
but of course, that never happened because he passed away. The first thing that come to mind is Kidada because Tupac was dating Kidada at the time of his passing. So, where do she come into play? If you and Tupac was working on the baby and Tupac was dating Kidada at that time, where do she come into play? And actually, how do you feel about her and Tupac relationship?
Um, I thought that. Hmm, I thought that they had nothing in common. Um, she was from, but sometimes opposites attract. She was pretty, but she just. I just felt they had nothing in common. Like she couldn't relate to his world at all, and you know, one of the things that made me and him close was the fact of how much we had in common. Drug addicted parents, crazy childhood, moving around a lot, you know, no stability, just chaos, and finding our way to grounding. So I couldn't, aside the fact that her father's a powerful person and she's an attractive girl, but I couldn't, like, I know girls like that, girls that grow up in privilege, and they, for lack of better words, they're like spoiled brats. And I couldn't see that he would enjoy that for a very long time, knowing him, because he likes down to earth, grounded women, cool women. So I don't know, maybe she's cool and down to earth. I didn't get that vibe though.
Right. So you don't think Tupac and Kidada Jones' relationship would have lasted? You think they would have broke up sooner or later?
Nah, hell no. Hell no. They might have got married and they might have, but they would have got divorced. They would have got divorced. That man likes women, and that was the thing. That was the crazy thing. Like, if you dealt with him and he was keeping it pretty much 100 with you, it's like you could stay, or you could stay and accept it, or you can go. Either way, he wasn't going to stop what he was wanting to do with himself at the time. And he was young. So I don't know. Like I said before, I don't think he was suited to be married to anybody. If he could have had a harem, become a Muslim, and have multiple wives that he could afford and provide for, then maybe. But to just be with one person, I can't see that. I couldn't. No way.
Hypothetically speaking, what if Tupac and Kidada did have kids? Because they was getting married. So what if Tupac would have never passed away and they had kids? How would that make you feel?
How do I feel about it? I wish he would have had a baby with anybody. I wish that he left something on earth. Um, like I said, they were engaged. His mother told me that. you know. So that I mean, I don't know. I don't think that it doesn't hurt me. It would have hurt me if he was alive and that would have happened. Um, but you know, I wish he would have left the child back here or some piece of himself.
Right. So me just sitting right here listening to you, it seems like you don't like Kidada. Where did all this bad blood between both of you stem from? Is it the Vegas incident when Tupac was in the hospital after
He
he
said, I
got
don't
shot
like
and you
her.
went up there to check on him and you feel like she was being rude to you? Is that where it started from?
It 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 did. And then I ran into her later on down the road, maybe like 10 years later. No, maybe 5, 6, 7 years later. I was working with someone and they were doing an event for Rockefeller and Tommy Hilfiger. And, you know, she said some things behind my back, which to someone who I worked with that just happened to be like family. So it was, I was, I have no problem with Jasmine Guy. I have no problem with Yo Yo. I have no problem with any woman, especially ones that I met that I knew he had relations with because they conducted themselves as ladies. And given the circumstances where we all met, I just felt it was in poor taste. And it definitely turned me off. I don't care about her though, either way. But yeah, it did leave a bad taste in my mouth. I just, I don't know. It's a time and a place for acting up. That was not the time. I would respect you. Oh, she just said that I bring bad memories and that I was just everywhere she turned, I was there. I don't know what to say to that. His family had me there. So what they could have told me to leave. They could have been like, I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't about her wishes at that moment though. And I feel that people knew that, I had a special place in his heart as well. So whether we were together or not at the moment, you know, he loved me and I loved him. And, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I bring bad memories to her.